Welcome to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, where we talk all things good food, good business, and good cars. And now, here is your host, Arnold Gacita, founder and CEO of Petra Automotive Products. Let's roll.
All right. Well, I am excited that we are in Louisville, Kentucky with Rick McAnally, one of our favorite distributors. A delight to work with. I think every customer that works with him will tell you the same thing. He is great. Rick, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I really.
You came uniformed, didn't you? I should have come uniformed.
Well, I had to work today, so I've been out working all of this afternoon before we came here. But no, thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited.
And listen, I'm happy that you're here. We really do. We love working with you. I mean, everybody internally says that you are a professional, inside and out, from top to bottom, and thank you for helping us out. I mean, you've helped us out to go see other distributors and work with them, and we appreciate you. You are a great team player.
Well, I appreciate that. That's really sweet of you. And
all right, so Rick, what is your favorite car? What is the car that needs to go in the Rick McAnally Museum?
this one is going to be a little strange because I'm not a big car guy. I'm just not. I grew up, my stepdad was a mechanic and a service manager and then a shop owner. And for whatever reason, I never got into cars. But I'll tell you what I do want, and here's the one. I want what they call a resto mod, where you restore a vehicle, but you put all modern accoutrements in this thing. So basically, imagine taking a 1960s or early 70s pickup truck with that same veneer that's on there right now. I want to keep it just the way it is, and just take the body off, roll a new chassis under there with suspension, brakes, air conditioning, all of those wonderful things, and then set the truck back down on that. And then I want to put like
so it's just the outside mold.
Yes.
Everything else is modern.
Everything else is modern and brand new.
Okay, so what would the outside mold be?
The outside mold would be a 1968 Ford pickup truck. And I want to keep the original patina that's on there, and I want it to be my shop truck.
So you like those style?
I do.
But you want the modern.
I want the modern feel.
I
I want
electronic power steering, air conditioning.
That's exactly right. And because I want it to be a daily driver. It's something that I want to take to my shops so that it looks like a piece that everybody wants to talk about or come out and see. It has always been my fantasy to have that one. Yeah. But I will tell you, as far as a new car goes, I would have to say probably one of these brand new Vets. I really like them. I know that it's not a Lamborghini, it's not a Ferrari, but I really have an affinity for those cars.
The mid-engine one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I mean, we've done a few in our Petra training class for the ceramic glass.
Okay.
I kind of have to roll off in and out.
Yeah.
Like you get in, and I got to kind of do this on my head and get in there. And then when I open the door, I kind of got to go on the floor and kind of work my way out. You obviously do a lot better than me. It is a fun car, and it is a fast car.
Yeah.
And you get everybody's attention, and they got to get a little double look. But all right, that's good. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, my favorite type of food is Mexican food. Okay. Grew up in Southern California, so I absolutely love Mexican food. But if I had to pick my favorite food, then that's probably shepherd's pie. I am Irish. My last name is Irish, McAnally. And my mother's side of the family all came from England. My father's side of the family came from Ireland. And so
Have you been back to Ireland?
I haven't. I haven't been back to the UK.
Follow your roots?
No, I haven't done any of that yet. I'd love to, though. But that's my favorite meal. It reminds me of being a child. I recently came across a recipe, and I made it myself. And I don't know if you've ever seen those moments where somebody tries something and it just takes them right back to childhood. That's what it did. It's like I have not made shepherd's pie like my mom made it ever in my life, and recently I made that. And I was 9 years old again, sitting at the dinner table.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Of all the places you've traveled, what's your favorite?
I would probably say what we just did last, which was a road trip that we took across the United States. We started in Louisville, Kentucky, and then we went up through Indiana, and then over to Illinois, up through Wisconsin, and then Minnesota. I want to say North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota.
Wow.
Iowa, and then back down through
How
Illinois.
long was this trip?
I want to say 5,000 miles. 5,000 miles. It took 2 weeks, and our goal was to get out there and really just see the country. We rented a motorhome. I'd never driven one before.
Was it good? Would you do it again?
No. I
You know why I say that? Because I want to rent an RV, but everybody that's ever rented an RV is like, no.
It taught me that I'm more of a fly-in, rent a car, and have a nice hotel. But I tell you, I really did enjoy this one time, and I would recommend to do it one time. Because especially if you have like an A-class where you're sitting up there a little bit, you have this huge window.
Because there's a difference between an RV and the bus, right? They're telling me that the bus is the luxurious, and then the RV is the normal family.
Yep.
If
If you want to get a coach, then you're really living the style,
But then I'm thinking about the turns and the twists. How long was it?
This was a big one. It was 32 feet long. It had a full slide out. It slept about 8 people. Had a king-size bed in the back of it. But it didn't feel as big as it was because, like I said, when you're up in the front of this cab, you can see everything. It's like being in the front of a truck, a semi.
Okay.
Like you can see everything 12 cars down, 20 cars down. You can see everything right and left of you, and it gives you a sense of security. And once you kind of hit you have little minders on either
Did
side.
Molly ever drive this RV?
Absolutely not. She wanted no part of it.
This is like your baby.
No, it's
And you had to plot the RV places, right?
Oh, absolutely. We had it on a map.
So my mind is going to the Robin Williams RV movie.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it wasn't far from that. We did sleep in a ditch one night. It was late, and we were making a turn. There were no street lights out there, and boom, the motorhome ended up in a ditch.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we called to have a tow truck driver come pull us out of there, but at 1 o'clock in the morning, nobody was available, so that's where we slept, at about a 45-degree angle in this motorhome overnight. Next, thank God, and in the morning, we had somebody come pull us right out.
And you had teenage kids in here.
Absolutely. With
Which
a broken
also
arm.
reminds me of the Robin Williams movie.
Very much
Yeah.
so. It was one of those things that we're always going to talk about, and we knew it right then and there.
Remember, in his movie, it doesn't start out but at the end, it's the memory.
That's it.
Right? At the beginning, nobody wanted to do this, but at the end, you kind of go, man, this is a memorable vacation that we're never going to forget.
And that's exactly what it was. It was something that's a core memory that my kids will never forget, that we all talk about. But yeah, it was really a blast.
So if you went to the kids and Molly tomorrow and said, you know what, I'm thinking about doing this again next summer, what would be the response?
Oh, I don't think they'd all be behind me this time. This was more kind of a labor of love for me. This is something I really wanted to do.
It's like we checked it off, we did it, we're done.
That's exactly right, but it was worth it.
What bucket list? What is a place you want to go to?
The UK. I definitely want to get out to England and to Ireland and get out there. I'd also like to go to Europe. And I'm a big history buff, so seeing architecture, which is another one of my interests, and so you combine architecture with history, Europe is the place to be.
Yeah, I love Europe as well, and obviously it's the architect, it's the history, it's age, and I'm always amazed to look at these buildings that are 3,000 years old.
Amazing.
And they're perfectly straight. I mean, you think about the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
And today, you get a contractor to build a house and he can't put a wall straight, right? With all the tools in the world.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
That's how talented they
Except pride.
Yeah.
I think the people just had this extreme amount of pride that they were part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
And whatever they were building, they wanted to build it the best.
Because these were great works. I mean, I think to your point, everybody felt like that was building this is something that's going to last long past all of us.
Yeah, and like Notre Dame, don't quote me on this, but it took something like 100 or 120 years to build.
It's crazy.
More or less, right? I don't remember the exact number. But they talked in the tour about how the people that started did not end it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a lot of pride to know that you're starting the project, that you're not going to see it come through, but you want your piece to be right for the next guy that came along.
Yep.
That just reminded me of my grandfather who, was a rancher in Cuba before he opened his businesses. And he would always talk about planting trees for the next guy.
Yes.
Right? Plant a fruit tree for the next guy. You're enjoying this fruit.
Yes.
Plant a fruit tree for the next guy. It's just a different mentality.
It is. It's like a saying that was, The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
Today. That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's a good one. We've got to write that one down. Where were you born?
I was born in La Mirada, California. It is in LA County. It's basically East LA is where I grew up. And my mother was a runaway when she had me, so it was kind of a crazy upbringing at the beginning. She was 15 years old.
Runaway meaning like she ran away from home?
Mm-hmm. She got pregnant with me at 15 and then ran away from home. And so it was me and my little brothers she had 18 months later, and that was us. It was us three kind of coming up together in Southern California, and she's a great mom. It was my brother and I played basketball. We did everything together until I turned 18. And once I turned 18, I sold everything I owned. I bought a C-Class motorhome. Here's a motorhome again. And got a little 1980 Audi 4000 to tow behind it. And got a map from AAA that showed me how to get from La Habra, California to Valparaiso, Indiana. I hit Route 66, and there I went.
At 18?
At 18 years old.
All right, before you get too far, though, again, now, have you read Matthew McConaughey's book? I think it's Red Light, Green Light, something like that.
No, I haven't.
You need to read it.
Okay.
He has a chapter in there about his RV, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
You know, so he kind of, every time he made a movie, he would go through some kind of weird phase, and he would do something crazy.
Yeah.
Like go to the Amazons. And one of those phases, he got an RV with a dog, and
Went around
I think hit Route 66 and almost did what you're just saying. You
Yeah.
know? His probably got a little bit crazier than yours.
I'm certain it did.
But it's an interesting book. If you haven't read it,
Yeah.
and you like to read it. But so you were born outside of LA or in LA County.
Went to high school, graduated
So
out there.
you were there since you were born till you were 18.
Yep, born and raised.
What high school did you graduate from?
La Habra High School,
La Habra High School.
1993.
You gone back for your 10th or 20th?
I have not. I
You know,
haven't been
somebody,
back to those.
a lot of people don't do that anymore, you know. I went to one.
Did you?
I went to one, and I saw the principal again and decided not to go again. No. I think she still likes me, though.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It just never seemed to be the right time. It never kind of falls
Yeah.
on the right time to do those. But I'm interested in one of these days getting back and seeing everybody.
Seeing everybody. Okay, so 18, hop on this RV. Do we call it an RV?
Yeah, motorhome, RV.
Motorhome RV. So
It's a
motorhome.
C-Class.
And you take off Route 66.
Yep.
Looking for what?
Looking to start my life. When I graduated high school, I was lost. We didn't really talk about college when I was young, and graduating high school wasn't something that, was, I don't know, that big a deal that really looked upon. So what happened was I graduated, and all my friends went and did wonderful things. One went and played baseball, another one went and played basketball, a couple others went to a nice college, and I was sitting there having not taken the necessary classes for college, and I didn't know what to do. I was heartbroken that my girlfriend had just left me and went to Valparaiso. So I decided that that's as good a place as any to get my start. And like I said, I sold everything that I owned, which was a 1980 pickup truck, my stereo, all the stuff that I had, and bought this little Audi 4000. My stepfather gave me the motorhome just to take with me. And I had $1,800 in my pocket, and I just hit the road.
So graduated from high school.
Yep.
No college degree.
Nope.
Broke up with
$1,800
girlfriend.
Yep.
We're gonna go find myself.
That's it. That's it. No fear.
Okay.
No fear whatsoever.
So what's your first stop?
First stop is Vegas. First
Okay.
stop is Vegas.
There goes the 1800.
No, not that. I had picked up, it wasn't just me, because I had picked up a couple of stragglers along the way.
Like
it-
hitchhikers?
No. It's my uncle, but it could have been. My uncle and then his buddy, they were going to Missouri. And so they hooked up with me and drove with me to Missouri. And so they wanted to stop in Las Vegas. So we stopped in Las Vegas. I was 18. But at that time in Las Vegas, it was they were trying to make it more family friendly. So they had places like Excalibur and Circus had always been there. So I was able to walk in and gamble and have a great old time. And that was my first introduction to gambling in Vegas, was with my uncle and his best friend, Artie.
It's because it's always an uncle.
It is.
It's always an uncle. The uncle gets us in trouble every time.
Yep, yep, Uncle Steve.
All right, what's the next stop?
So the next stop, we take off on Route 66, and we don't stop again until we hit Missouri to get out of the RV. So we have 2 other stops along the way where we just slept in the motorhome and kept driving. There were 3 of us, and so we all just kind of took turns cruising down the road. And then we get to Missouri, where we're going to drop Artie off, and I had never seen such a small town in my life. Like, I'm coming from L.A. I've never seen a street that didn't have a sidewalk or a crosswalk or, lights up. And so that was my first
flashing
culture
light
shock.
in the middle of downtown.
That was it. We got there to this little Missouri town. My uncle and his buddy went and met up with another friend of theirs, and we literally sat on a 1-lane bridge and drank a mountain of beers and skipped rocks across the water, and not another soul came in. I had never been to a place like that, but it was interesting.
It is interesting, especially in those towns that I've been to too, with buddies, that drink the amount that they drink.
Yeah.
And have roads like that, and not that many people get killed.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't tell you how many roads I've been on that are one vehicle, like you got to wait for the other guy
Yeah.
to go through, and then you go through,
Yeah.
and there's like no lights at night, or the flashing light.
The one flashing
The
light.
one flashing light, and people make it through, man. I don't know if it's just because it's low population.
I would think that has to have something to do with it.
I remember growing up, I went to, so similar like that, I went to an uncle-in-law's family reunion
Okay.
in a town that had no lights, no high school. This is how small this town was.
Yeah.
Like if you blinked, you're like when you got from one light to the other, you pass a town. So one light was a town, then you go into his town. Then by the time you get to the other light, you're in a different town. Okay? And they lived on this little hill up here. So we went to this family reunion, and he had a nephew similar to me in age. So he says, "Hey, let's go out. I don't know. Let's go do something." And we get in this little pickup truck in this town. Well, there's nothing to do. So all we do is hop town to town.
I think that's what you do. Go drive to the square if they
So
have
like,
a town square.
yeah, so 30, 40 minutes to the next town.
Yep.
And you go to the Sonic or whatever, and and you do whatever, and then, no, let's go, and now you hop 30, 40 minutes to the next town.
Yeah.
By the time it's midnight, you're an hour and a half, 2 hours away, because all you've done is hop into all these little towns,
Yeah.
and you pick up people as you go.
That's it. That's what they do in little towns.
Unbelievable. And nobody got hurt. We drove fast, and
Yeah.
it was crazy. All right, so what else? What's next?
So next, I end up in Valparaiso, Indiana. I end up over there because they have a university. So the girl
Okay.
I was dating in high school gets a scholarship to go to Valparaiso University. I really don't have any direction or where to go, but she's the closest girl or person that I have to me right now, so I decide I'm going to go to Valparaiso. Show up there, pull into a motorhome lot, and just ask them if I could stay. Paid $200. I remember it like it was yesterday. Paid $200 and plugged my motorhome in, and there I was. I was on my own for the first time in my life.
You were staying on campus?
No, I was staying at a motorhome park.
Motorhome park, $200 a month.
Yep,
Plug it in.
plug it in. That's it.
And your uncle?
Uncle's gone.
Okay.
Uncle
Now you're
took off
alone.
in Missouri. I'm by myself. I drove up to Valparaiso.
Okay.
Got myself set
All
up
right.
there.
Now what do you do?
Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared for just a
No
little bit.
fear up until this part.
No fear up until this point. It's like, I just felt like I didn't have anything at home, and so there was no fear in leaving. But once you kind of get there, now you're there. Now it's what am I going to do?
Plus, you also had the uncle along the ride.
Yeah, and so
Now
now
you're
I'm
really alone.
Now I'm really by myself up there. Wake up the very first morning that I'm there, and it is freezing cold. A cold that I have never felt before in my life. Remember, I'm from California. I've never seen it snow. I've seen snow, but I haven't seen it actually come down.
Yeah.
And nor have I been in weather that is so cold that like your pants kind of freeze up. So as you walk and your legs touch your
kinda
pants.
crispy.
Yes, and it's freezing cold. So I wake up my first morning and it is culture shock. But in very quick, succession there, I'm able to kind of blend in. I get a job as a busboy at a local restaurant. Within a few weeks, I am in the kitchen. Owner really took a liking to me and put me in the kitchen. Within a few months, I'm the assistant kitchen manager over there. And within, 3 months later, I get hired to be a general manager of my own restaurant. So things happened very
And you're
quickly.
18.
I'm 19 at this
19
point.
now.
Yeah, by this point, I'm 19
You're
years
not
old.
going to college.
Not in college.
Have you Said hi to the girl that left?
Yep. We said hello. That didn't work out so well. I got
It was hello and goodbye?
yes, one of those. We were both young. I don't know if I thought it was going to work out or not.
Everybody. I can't tell how many stories are like that.
But you give it a shot.
Yeah.
And after that didn't work out, I got jobs in the restaurants, and I ended up being a general manager of my own restaurant at 19. It was a little pizza place. It was two business guys went in together and decided to open up a little pizza joint. But it had a liquor license, and it had tables and servers and all of that. And that was my first real job. I was running the joint at 19 years old. I worked 80 hours a week.
Fear's gone.
Fear's gone. Now it's just about building a business. And that was my first time I ever got to actually build a business.
Right.
I walked in there, and it was just a blank slate. And all I knew about restaurants was the last 6 months I had worked at, and I'd eaten pizza.
Right.
Those were the things. But I found that with a couple of things, staying organized, working hard, and maintaining a good attitude, those three things, and they've been pillars of my life ever since then, are what enabled me, on retrospect, to be successful there. I got to hire a bunch of really talented people that were great. And we ran a nice, successful business for about 2.5 years, and then I moved on to go to college, and I don't think it lasted very much longer after that. But it was a great, great learning experience for me, managing people, managing a business, and growing a business, having the owners come in and talk to me about the numbers and what they wanted to see. And I think that's really, I've always wanted to own my own business since I was a child, but that was the first time I actually got hands-on to do it. And it was wonderful. I really enjoyed that.
How long did you do that for?
I did that for about 2 years.
Did you get tired of pizza?
Nope.
I love pizza.
I love pizza. I don't know how I could get tired of pizza. Sometimes we would come up with some really strange creations, a little bored of the regular. But
I bought a pizza oven for my house.
Nice.
And so I've done that, let's create. Like leftovers from the night before. Let's do a pizza with the leftovers. Some has not worked out as well as I thought. Some have, actually.
Yeah.
Like Spanish chorizo
Ooh, I bet that's
on
good.
a pizza was very good.
Yeah.
But lechon, which is the Cuban pork on a pizza, no.
Not as good.
Not as good.
That was an important time for me when I was over in the restaurant. It was called the Original Roma's Pizza, because that was the first time where I saw a job that I wanted and decided I was going to go get it. And that was the delivery guys, the sales guys, the outside sales guys who would come in and deliver our breads or our towels or our rugs. They seemed like they were having a good time. They seemed like they were enjoying their work. And I wanted to enjoy my work. After 80 hours a week doing this, it gets long on you. And I saw the Aramark guy. I asked him if they were hiring. He said he didn't know. So I just drove over to the warehouse. I found the general manager who was running the place. I gave him my speech about how I should be their next hire, and within 6 weeks, they hired me. Youngest rap guy ever hired in.
So now you're 20?
Office. Now I'm 20. And I have to be 21 in order to get on the insurance over there, but I was only a few weeks away.
Right.
Yeah. So a few weeks later, I got the job. I'm 21 years old, and now I am delivering uniforms and mats and rugs in Gary, Indiana.
Also been there.
Yes. At the time.
That one only once.
I believe this is in 1997. I think Gary was the murder capital of the United States.
That's what I went.
Yes, it was. And
There's a casino there, I think.
Oh, yeah, there's a casino there. There's a couple of them there. But that was interesting. I mean, I grew up, again, in Southern California, so being in Gary didn't seem too out of the normal for me, except for I was this really skinny 6'3" kid running around out there. But I was in Gary 5 days a week, where everybody else had a route that took them into this town and this town and this town. I was Gary 5 days a week. But I took that territory and I stopped the bleeding in that place. It was just constantly losing money. I was able to, again, run my own business, which I thought was fantastic.
Wow.
So I was able to get in there and prove myself and get that Gary territory.
How long did you
turned
do
around.
that for?
2 years.
And then?
College. When I was...
22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
No, because you got 21. So, 23.
23 is when I started going to college.
Okay.
And in order to go to college, actually I was 22 because I started when I was working with Aramark.
So it's funny that you had this, for your age at the time, a pretty successful career. pretty much getting the job you wanted, doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yet you stopped and said, I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to go to college, not back. I'm going to go to college.
Yeah. And I had a lot of remedial stuff that I had to do in order to get back or to get to college. The biggest reason why is because I saw a guy who was incredibly qualified get passed over at Aramark because the underqualified, in my opinion, guy had a degree. And I thought, I can't let that happen to me. I can't be the best, hardest working one here and then have somebody else take my spot because they have a college degree. So I decided I was going to go get mine. And I started out, I hadn't taken my SATs or done anything like that before. So I just started up at a place called Purdue Calumet in Cal City. It's like south side of Chicago, right near Gary. And I started taking remedial classes there. I took math and science and English, things I should have taken in high school if I was on the college course. Yep. So I did that for a couple of years, and then when it came time to move, I left Aramark and I moved to Indianapolis to attend college. It was...
Were you working and going to college at the same time?
Uh-huh.
Working for...
I was working at Aramark. I left Aramark and went down there, and I started bartending. Got a job as a waiter, and that job as a waiter turned into a bartender.
At nighttime?
I ran my own little restaurant, back in the day, and it gave me the ability to go in there and start serving and then work at night so I can bartend and pay for college. Because I'm paying for college 100%. So now I'm down in Indianapolis, I'm bartending, and I'm going to a school called UIPUI. It's called IUPUI. It's Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis. They have a campus that's together in Indianapolis. And that's where you go if you hope to attend IU or Purdue. That's kind of like the starting
stepping
point.
stone.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. And so I moved down to Indianapolis for that stepping stone, just to go there. And while I was there, I started bartending, which turned into kind of a bit of a career there for about 5-7 years.
So you bartended for 5-7 years?
Oh, I bartended, I probably bartended for 10.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was from the time I was...
So you like bartending?
Yeah, it was lucrative is what I liked about bartending. It was
I understand is that more people drink, the bigger the tip gets.
That's exactly right. Not only that, but, it's just a fun place to be. You're in the middle of the party the whole time,
right.
So it's kind of a fun environment to be a part of. But what it did was allow you to earn a good amount of money in a short amount of time. And that's what I needed while I was going to school. So doing that, going to school, and now it's time to transfer again. Now I've done my 3 semesters at IUPUI.
Now you get to go play with the big boys.
Now I get to go to the big one. Then I got to go to Purdue University. Dream upon dreams, man. I never would have thought in my wildest dreams I would have been able to make it to
So how
Purdue.
old are you when you're walking into Purdue?
When I'm walking into Purdue, I'm 28 years old.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And what are you going to do now for a job? Still bartending?
I'm still bartending. Now I have switched to a different company.
Right.
So I'm up at school all week. I come back on Friday night, and I work Friday night till like 5 to 1, and then Saturday I work 10 in the morning till 10 at night, Sunday 10 in the morning till 10 at night, and then I go back up to school.
Go back. Make your money on the weekend, go back.
That's it. That's exactly it.
You spent a lot of time. I mean, you got a lot of experience and history in restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Working it, general manager, server, bartending.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of experience in that. Mm-hmm. What is one or two things of the restaurant industry that you could say helps you today?
First one is hospitality. What I experienced in the restaurant business, say you had somebody walk into your restaurant and they're standing up at the hostess stand for more than 10 seconds. I mean, there are 10 of us tripping over each other to try and get to that because it's just unacceptable. So I try and take that sort of, level of hospitality and bring that into our dealerships. Can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody pull onto a dealership and step out of their car on the service drive and nobody greets them. There's 5 service advisors, but they're all on the phone or dealing with another customer. In my world, that's not okay.
Right, mine either.
You have to stop somewhere along the line with your customer and acknowledge that next guest and let them know that you will be serving them here shortly. Just kind of, and opening the doors for people. Trying not to act like, it's a hassle to service your vehicle. Because sometimes these are heated and sometimes things aren't as pleasant as maybe a restaurant interaction.
Yeah.
But that's where I feel like you really need to be over the top with hospitality. And then the other thing is just time management. In a restaurant, you have 2 deadlines every day. You got lunch and dinner, lunch and dinner. You can't push it off till tomorrow. You can't do it the next day. Everything has to get done today. And so it's that sort of scheduling, I think, that allows me to get out to everybody I need to see.
There's no tomorrow.
No,
It's today.
everything is today.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure.
So,
I got a survey actually. So, went to the airport today. And it was a mess, and Clear. I have both TSA Clear. The TSA line was huge, so I said, "Well, the Clear line's empty." Just to give you a point, right? Not to throw these guys under the bus, but just to prove your point.
yeah.
So I get in the Clear line. There's nobody in that line. There are 3 workers talking amongst themselves. Look over, don't come over, until we get 3, 4, or 5 people waiting. Then they approach, and the approach was like walking zombies. Like, I'm going to take my time to get to you,
Yeah.
right? It was Monday morning. I know that, maybe it was a great party last night, whatever the case may be. But had that been quicker,
Yeah.
the service, if the attention would have been better,
Yeah.
the experience would have been,
Yeah.
when you get the survey, it would have been great, phenomenal, right? But when I actually got the survey, now you think about it, right? Now
Yes.
you're like, it really wasn't great.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't what they would expect it to be, because the whole point of that
Yeah.
line is to get you cleared
Get you
quick,
through.
right? But anyway, I think those points you said are dead on for any business. Brady, who's our distributor in which you met in Southern California.
Yeah.
When I interviewed him, one of the things that he mentioned is that he's learned that he's not in the customer service business. He is in the hospitality business.
Yes. Yes.
And that there's a difference.
I agree.
And you just confirmed that.
Yeah. And to your point, it takes so little to have that overwhelmingly positive experience. Had the TSA agents just kind of come over when you were there, smiled a little bit, acknowledged you, it would have been a great experience. And the same thing with our customers in the dealerships. And when I'm working with service advisors, I mention that quite often. It's a smile, it's an acknowledgement, it's just hospitality. It's, these people are in here to spend hundreds, thousands of dollars. Let's treat them as such.
As such. Correct.
And so that's what I really try and get across.
When did you graduated from Purdue?
Well, almost.
Okay.
I did graduate from Purdue, but it didn't happen quite that quick because near the end of my career there at Purdue, I ran out of money.
Okay.
Which will happen to
Yeah.
you. Ran out of money, and I had to go back for what I thought was just going to be a semester off, and I'm sure everyone's heard the semester off.
Yeah.
The semester off turned
Just
into...
taking one semester off.
turned into 5 years. But there were great business opportunities. I was the general manager at that point or managing partner really, of our new bar venture, which I was really interested in. So we opened up this great new bar concept. I was the GM of the store. I was buying into the store.
Still in the restaurant business.
Still in the restaurant business.
So real quick, did you go back and graduate, or you haven't? Or
Yep.
I
I did, 5 years later,
Okay.
to get out of the restaurant business.
Okay. When was your first job in the automotive business?
My first job in the automotive business was running parts for my stepdad when I was 16 years old. He was a...
Back in California.
Back
before
in
you-
California.
Okay, but now after you've so you've got this restaurant maze, and you're loving it.
I'm doing well.
You're doing well. Take this semester off that turns into 5 years because you guys are opening all these
Yep.
projects.
Yeah.
When did you decide to leave the restaurant business, and what was the first thing you got into after that?
I got to the top of the mountain. After I graduated college, I went back. The owner and I had a conversation. He says, you go back and get your degree, we'll make you vice president. At the time, I had been general managing at different stores, and so that's what I did. I went back, I finished up that semester, came back to be vice president of the company, and did that for 24 months and decided I never want to work in this business again. I mean, once you get to the top of the mountain, you look over the other side, and it's not beautiful. It's just a bunch more of the same. It's nights, weekends, holidays, transitional workforce, high turnover, low margins. It just wasn't for me to make a career out of. So I went in and I resigned. It was pretty quick. I talked to my wife and said, I think this is it for me today.
You're married by now.
Yep. And we had been, she knew that I had been talking about making a change, but we didn't quite know what I was going to do. And I couldn't do both, is what I just found out. I can't work 60, 70, 80 hours a week in a restaurant and try and find a new career. So I went in and resigned and blasted out 600 resumes to find the job I wanted. I found that not finding the job that you want and going after it was something that was going to work for me because I wanted to try something different. So what I had to do was apply to everything. And then whoever expressed interest in me, then I would look into them a little bit.
Right.
And start and see like what the job description was. I knew that I wanted outside sales. I knew I wanted that, but in what field I did not. And an opportunity became available in this line of business to sell chemical, and I saw it again as just an opportunity to run your own business, and I jumped at it. And that's when I started.
How long ago was that?
That was 15 years ago.
So 15 years ago, you jumped at a new career.
Yes.
New opportunity.
Yep.
Already married.
Yep.
You have any kids by then?
Not yes. We're
About to have one.
We're planning on one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons why we left. Is because
I always like
wanted to have
how the
kids.
guy looks at the wife. Did we have? Did we have kids? Were we married?
But after 10 years of doing that very successfully, I had been saving a lot of money during this time because I found that chemical sales job, that was the one for me. It incorporated a lot of what I had already learned from the hospitality industry because we are still dealing with front-facing customers. I mean, these are retail customers coming in, whether they're coming in to buy an oil change or to buy a burger, they're still walking in and they need to be treated, as such. So I found doing that really helped out on the training side for the service advisors. I was able to take something that really a lot of them weren't doing and kind of help them out with that. And that's right about the time CSI was really starting to crank up and everybody's getting nervous about CSI. But yeah.
So when you got into the automotive chemical world, were you working for somebody or you kind of had your own little company?
I was
Like
working
those-
for somebody.
Okay.
I was working for...
You weren't like a sub-distributor or distributor. You were working for somebody.
Yep.
When did you open your own sub-distributor or distributorship? When did you open your own little...
Almost 6 years ago now.
Okay.
My wife and I decided that this was going to be it. This was we were going to push it
got
all
it.
to the middle, and we're going to do this one. And so we sold our home, and we moved down to Louisville to live in my wife's parents' basement until they were ready to
Indiana?
move out. Yeah, from Indiana. We moved from Indiana down to Louisville. Moved in with her parents in a very historic home that her family has. Her grandfather built it. My wife was raised in it. We wanted to raise our children in that house. So we had this very idyllic idea that we were going to come down, buy this house, start our business, and we were going to have, that was going to be our life. And we did. We did exactly that. We came down, we bought her parents' house. We have our two children that are in school 5 houses down from us in the church.
You are very goal-driven.
Yes.
You remind me as I'm having this conversation with you. I don't know if you guys have seen on Netflix the Arnold Schwarzenegger. We'll give them a free plug. Documentary. It's him talking. Have you seen it?
No, but I've seen the highlights of
It's
it.
fascinating.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger says this. Anything that I've wanted in life, I've looked at it. I said, I want that. I set my goal, and I don't stop until I get it.
Yeah.
You remind me a little bit of that. Because everything you've said is, I set my mind to this and I got it. I wanted to do this, so we set out.
Yeah.
We put all the cards in and we went to do this.
Yep.
I went back to college, and it might have taken 5 years, but I went back and finished it,
Yep.
And I remember things you've told me as you've become our distributors of where you want to be and what you want to do. And
Absolutely.
And we obviously see that the numbers are growing in that fashion. Not just numbers, but respect, right? Because you can grow in numbers and not have respect.
That's true.
In your case, you grow in numbers and have respect.
Try.
And that's because that's character, right? People should not, you don't work for that. That should just be nature.
Yeah.
Your character dictates that.
Yeah.
And people will respect
And that'll
it.
give your business legs.
And that will give your business legs for sure.
Yeah, you'll be.
People that are starting out today on any business, they want to be their own bartender business or open their own restaurant or be their own chemical guy or sell uniforms.
Yeah.
Right? 2 pieces of advice that you would give those people today.
It's simple. It's just work hard and have a good attitude. If you can do those 2 things, everybody I've ever hired in my life, and at the peak of my restaurant, I was managing about 300 people. And I would tell them, if you can bring those 2 things to work with you every day, a willingness to work or hard work and a good attitude, everything else will take care of itself.
It takes time,
Yeah.
but it'll fall into place.
I'll fold in some organization. You
Yeah.
stay organized.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that helps as well.
Yeah,
But really,
there's that old saying, right? Attitude is altitude.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
your attitude determines your altitude.
Yes.
And hard work, you out hustle the other guy.
That's it. That's all I've ever
And
had.
you can
in my
look
life.
at all of our interviews, and every successful person will tell you, you wake up early and you out hustle the other guy.
That's it. That really is it.
Can't start at 10.
Nope.
Can't stop at 5.
Nope.
Can't have your feet up at a table and a desk.
Nope.
You got to out hustle the other guy.
Yeah.
That's what makes it work. So, right attitude and out hustle the other guy. That's perfect.
Yeah, and that's worked well for me so far. It got me in a room with you.
Well, look, we love you. We appreciate you. We can't do it without you. You've done a phenomenal job. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being on this podcast.
Thank you.
It's a great. The Rick McAnally story is a great story. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, your main source for all things good and fun, business, food, and cars. If you like this episode, make sure to rate us and subscribe. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please leave a message at the link below. Till next time, happy eating.